Hey there folks. So at this point we've got our character that can walk around and do some different actions, hopefully. And I've also put obviously this tile map in, and we've got the understanding of how we can use sprites and flipbooks to decorate that. Now what I've done here is I've just dragged in this ghoul, and the reason for that is just I'm just trying to see, is he visible enough for testing out? And he is. I can see him. He's going to be able to be used now for what my next thing is going to be, which is creating some kind of target dummy, something that I can basically hit and check that I am actually damaging. Because if we go and have a look in here with all of our weird and wonderful things we've been looking at so far, so if I go and have a look at this widow that I've created, the big spider, one of the things that we do this primary attack, and when we do our primary attack I've got this effect and I just draw the debug sphere. So I'm just drawing that white circle into the world, but it doesn't do anything. So let's start thinking about how we can actually use these to apply damage, do effects, communicate between multiple different elements, whether it's destroying objects and obstacles in the world or damaging enemies. We're going to need to actually think, what does this actually do? So to get us started, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create this little guy here, this little ghoul. I'm going to create him into some kind of target dummy thing that I can hit. Now, in the future, what I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to come in here and I'm going to start building some basic AI, some basic enemies, and they're going to inherit from a kind of generic kind of character class. But for now, let's just go with a basic blueprint class, and we'll just go with actor. In the future, we'll go to character. We can start thinking about functionality, getting the enemies moving around, using AI to traverse the world. But for now, I just want something that contains the sprites, and when they get hit, we can maybe look at the hit responses that they use. We can use hit kind of events that say, you took damage, let's change the visuals. And all of that can just be done in our actor. So let's go with this being the target. Let's go with the target dummy ghoul. And if we open that up, I've got some options here of how do I want to actually visualize this. Now I could go into my sprites and I could start thinking about individual sprites that I've got in here. But actually what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to think of it like my character, and I'm going to start thinking about using the different flipbooks that I have. Because even if I have this like idle standing flipbook, with this one you can see I've just got it running at 0 frames per second. So it is an animated flipbook, it's just one frame that never loops. So I could go with that one. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go with the let's go with, I'm going to actually make a different version of this one. So this one is going to be idle, and we'll go with closed. And then what I might do is at the end of the wake, you can see here is eyes wake up. I don't really have an idle awake animation anywhere in here, because you see I've got the hit, I've got the spawn. So if we just load these all into memory so we can see them, you can see he spawns. That's going to be useful for the widow later. We've got the waking up. He does walk around, but at no point does he stand there with his just eyes open. So let's just go into here, and I can just go and create a second one. And this one is going to be create a flipbook. Bring it into here, into the flipbooks folder that I've got. And this one, you see we've got the wake, but then they've got this static kind of one over here. So this one will be FB for the flipbook. It's going to be ghoul, because I want to always be able to name and know what these are. Idle, and let's go with open, and then we can make a determination between open and closed, and that one again can just be running at 0. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to be able to use these now. So let's go into here and start adding in our flipbook. That's going to be our representation, our visual element that represents this in the world. And because of the one that I've just created, it should have been auto applied to this flipbook. If not, go and obviously find it in your content browser, make sure you've got the flipbook, and come in here and just use this little arrow here to assign that flipbook to this one. Okay, so the next thing we're going to have a look at here is what we're going to do with collisions. Now, if I scroll down, you can see that this here is set to collide, and it's set to block all dynamic. Now, one of the things that we have to think about with our collisions is actually, do they block our movement? Do they block our characters? So I'm just going to pop back into my level, get rid of this demo one here, and I'm going to go and find the one we've just added in, and let's place him there. Yeah, is he on 0? Yeah, he's been placed, snapped onto the 0. So let's go and have a look at what happens when I walk along here. So you can see I'm not actually colliding with him. Yeah, and that might just be because maybe the flipbook doesn't have any collision. So one of the things to think about here, let's get rid of this bush that's open, is yes, this is set to collide, but maybe the flipbook itself doesn't have any collision assigned onto it. So one of the things I do, and I've pointed out when we looked at flipbooks before, is if you open up the flipbook, you can see that the collision source on a flipbook here runs at no collision. If you were running one, so for example our ghoul attack where he changes size quite dramatically, then you'd have to make a decision between, do you use the 0 point where it would be the first frame's collision, or do you go and update every single frame so his collision gets this big? Well, I'm not really going to do that because you can see here I'm actually using this socket to find out where that point is, do the damage in that location, and then still keep him at this small size that it is. So that's if you want to use the actual flipbook as a colliding element. But what if you want to just register this for example, hitting, targeting, doing damage to it? Well, in that instance, let's go and add ourselves some kind of collision element. I'm going to add myself a capsule, only because this one is very humanoid in shape and size, and obviously with it being quite tall, it makes sense for a capsule to be added to that. But you could, if it was a small little circular element, you could just add a sphere, or if it was something maybe that was just a decorative tile-based element, then maybe a box collision is going to work for that. So I'll add this in, and I'm just going to kind of move this to a sensible location. I could go and make this the root. It doesn't really matter too much at this point whether it is or isn't the root. If I make it the root, we are starting to move a little bit towards that kind of concept of having this be a character, and also then the middle of the capsule becomes the location. So you see here, if I actually get this and say, let's just attach, that means I've still got the ability to move that capsule around. Now it's moving large distances because I've got my snapping on 100, but you can see if I bring this down here and just move it, I've got control, because it's not the root, over exactly where that's placed. So let's just go and zoom in a little bit. I'll put it on the left view for a moment, and I'm going to just snap this to 1. And one of the things that I do find a little bit annoying when we're working with these is this big kind of default scene root representation. So one of the things you can do to get rid of that is if you go to add, a scene component, you can see that here I can add this scene component, I'm going to call it root, and if I drag that one onto the default scene root, it replaces it, and then it basically functions exactly the same, but it doesn't have the big kind of debug visualization. So it makes it a little bit easier to drag and move these things around, especially when you're trying to work and get things pixel perfect down at the bottom. So now let's just drag this up. I want to try and get it to match up a little bit perfect. I'm going to leave this in the middle, and I'm just going to move the ghoul so he's stood in the middle of that, and that's pretty much fine for now. That's just for us to register. Maybe it needs to be a little bit smaller, a little bit bigger, but honestly, not going to worry a tremendous amount about that. I just want it to kind of match up and be used for collisions. So let's give these a name. We'll go with collision capsule. And we've already got this being renamed based on the flipbook, but let's go with visual flipbook, and I can always put visual FB just so I can know what that is. Okay, so with these bits here, let's start having a look at what we're going to do. We know that our visual flipbook is set to block all dynamic, but doesn't necessarily actually block things. So again, you can go back to the flipbook and you can add those. I'm going to leave this as no collision just for now. And with my capsule, you can see that this is set to, at the moment, overlap all dynamics. So it overlaps everything. So let's go and have a look when we start hitting this thing at what it actually does and how we can find this thing out. Yeah, so what we're going to be looking at, and I'm just going to get rid of this, is in our Widow, when we draw this debug sphere, we're going to basically hit and try and find particular types of object. Now this target dummy right now, you can see that if I go into his collision presets, he's set to overlap all dynamic, and the default of that is that he is an object type world dynamic. Now if he was a character, his default here would be a pawn, which means he would be running on this object. And it's up to you what you want to do with this. If you want to go make your own object types for particular things that you maybe have as damageable elements or enemies or destructive elements, Or what you could start looking at is having individual tags. So you could go into the root of this and search and start assigning tags for helping you with filtering. But for now, this should be visible and usable for us in the world. And with the capsule, just for now, I'm just going to turn this to not be hidden in game, and I'm just going to give it a little bit of line thickness. And hopefully that means that then when I'm playing the game, yeah, I can see that thing. And what we're going to look at in the next video is how we can use this hit effect here to hit and cause some kind of like communication to happen between my character's attack and the capsule element of this target dummy. Thanks for watching, folks. If you enjoyed this video, then please consider subscribing to access more of my Unreal Engine content.